Hi, my mystic friends, and welcome. We are having a karmic completion of a solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees on September 21st, 2025. This is in the very last step, or this handoff into something that is new for each and every one of us. Think of it as like you are graduating. You don't throw away all the years of the study that's come before you. Instead, you look to carry this knowledge into this next new role, the next chapter of your life. If you are new here, my name is Patricia Tate. I blend traditional Western and evolutionary astrology together. For private consultation, visit willowgracemystic.com. So on September 21st, we have not just this eclipse, but this is literally right before the equinox. And so we're at this threshold moment with a solar eclipse at 29 degrees. This is the very last degrees of the sign of Virgo, the very last degree of the first hemisphere of the Zodiac. So this is the part of life that focuses on me, myself, my entire world. This eclipse, it asks us to not just erase everything that's come before us, but to honor it and to integrate it, to bring forth the lessons, and then to step forward bravely into something that is entirely new. This eclipse, I love it because it's about geometry and timing. It's creating a kite in the sky. It stands opposite of Saturn at 28 degrees of Pisces and Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. So these two are together, and it's anchoring us between the reality and our dreams, between discipline and disillusion, and structure and surrender, because that's what Saturn and Neptune want to bring into this energy. It also forms a grand trine with the planet of Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini and Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. And so it's aligning these planets, creating this supportive channel for transformation, for innovation, for alignment with not just your purpose, but with the collective purpose. Even Mars is at 29 degrees of Libra. And so this is adding to the sense of culmination and closures and endings. This means that most of the planets, they are either at the very beginning or they're at the very end of their respective signs. This is an entire sky that is echoing the message: a door is closing and a new one is opening. I look at it as we're not just starting a new chapter in a book. We're closing this book, putting it aside, and getting a new book off the shelf. This eclipse is a South Node eclipse. The South Node is about release. It's karmic completion. It's letting go. 29 degrees is the very last step. It's a handoff into something new. Think of it like graduating. You don't throw away everything else that you've learned. Instead, again, you carry this knowledge forward as you step into this new role. 29 degrees of Virgo, it marks the final mastery of our details, of service, of health, of humility. It says, you have learned what it means to refine, to analyze, to improve yourself and your work. But self-focus is only one part of the story. Now it's time to move into the collective arena, to join others, to build something greater than just yourself. Saturn is opposite of this eclipse, and Saturn demands that we have accountability. It has the rings around it. It wants short, middle, and long-term goals. So we look at what have you outgrown. It has to be released, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. The structures that don't align with your soul path, they're not able to come along with you. You either have to leave them behind, or the universe will assist you in helping you to leave those behind. We also have Neptune opposite. Neptune, it dissolves. It's about releasing and letting go. So this is the fog lifting so you can now see the truth clearly. Old dreams, they could fade away, but only so that you can align with more inspired and soul-driven visions. You have Uranus and Pluto in this harmonious trine aspect that brings change, and it could be sudden, but it is deeply supportive. Uranus awakens us. It's the cosmic disruptor. It brings chaos for freedom and liberation. It awakens you to these new ideas. Pluto is transforming everyone from the inside out, from your core. Together, all of this planetary energy is saying, I need to trust the universe. What is falling away is now making space for something that is absolutely extraordinary. This eclipse is not about erasing your past. It's about becoming the phoenix. It's about rising from the ashes that have been built on the foundation of all the things that you've endured, all the things that you have learned. This is about integrating Virgo's wisdom on self-improvement, self-care, into a new cycle where connection and collaboration and co-creation can now take center stage. From Aries through Virgo, the focus is always on the self. It's who am I? What do I do? What do I create? Now from Libra onward, the Zodiac then shifts our energy not from I, but to the other. It brings about relationships, communities, the world stage. This eclipse is this pivot point. It's a soul upgrade that is moving from me to we, from solo survival to shared purpose. During this eclipse window, remember, the eclipses are not just on that day. They're the 4 to 6 weeks that lead up to it. And so for this one, go back to that Virgo new moon. So this is you releasing these old habits of perfectionism, over-analysis, self-criticism, trust. Lean into the trust that the universe has this higher plan that's unfolding for you. Even if you don't see the full picture yet, this is you looking at welcoming new allies, new communities that just feel aligned with your soul path. You reflecting back on what you've mastered so far and consciously honoring that before you're stepping forward. It's like paying homage to it and saying, this is what I've learned, and this is what I'm going to carry forth with me. This is going to support me with my new growth. This solar eclipse is a cosmic reset button. It's the threshold that carries us from one world into the other. This is the bridge between the old cycles of self-mastery and the new cycle of co-creation and this collective growth with others. Yes, change can feel really unsettling, uncomfortable. This is the cosmic reset. But with the grand trine that's supporting each and every one of us, we're not leaning into this unknown plane without a net. We are being carried with this alignment, with this higher purpose, that we are being guided by these unseen hands. So as this eclipse, as it darkens the sky, take time to pause. Take time to take it all in and breathe. Remember that all of the things that brought you here, this is you. You are the phoenix that is going to rise with the promise of the future that awaits you. So let's go through each sign. So for my Aries friends, you have this eclipse at 29 degrees and it's activating your health sector, your mental, physical health, well-being, your daily habits, how you nurture and care for yourself, structured and organized, and it's your daily routine. You are being asked to literally close these old cycles around how do you approach self-care? How do you approach service to others? This is the house of where I nurture and care for myself, but it's also how do I care for other people and the daily rhythms of your life. You have Saturn and Neptune that are opposite. This has to do with your first house of identity. Having Saturn and Neptune opposing, Saturn in your 12th house, dissolving, asking you to release and let go. In the sign of Pisces, it highlights the tension between discipline and surrender. It's asking you to balance your practical efforts with your spiritual renewal. You also have Neptune in your first house of your identity. We know that this is what is anchoring in the direction in which you're moving towards. You have Mars in Libra in your partnership sector. If you are the Aries, Mars, your chart ruler, is in the house of partnerships, all partnerships. This is about this turning point that's pushing you to truly renegotiate your responsibilities or your patterns that are imbalanced. Now, there is a grand trine that comes with Pluto in your 11th house and Uranus in your 3rd house. And so this grand trine is bringing into focus a breakthrough moment. It's the Pluto in your 11th house is birth, death, rebirth. It's the transformation. So it is suggesting that you're going to have breakthroughs within these communication, your groups, your networks, who you connect and collaborate with for your dreams, your goals. Having Uranus in your 3rd house, it's bringing about your communication, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others, the communication style within these communities that support your evolving purpose. There can be opportunities that lie in the releasing of outdated belief systems, overwork, self-criticism, and you embracing a more healthier lifestyle that feels sustainable, that feels holistic, or spiritually aligned. Now, there can be challenges that come up for this if you cling to perfectionism. This eclipse is really bringing to the surface that I need to not try to do it all alone. This eclipse reminds you that healing and wholeness, they are co-created with others, not with achievement in isolation. This is going to be a moment that you're going to want to integrate your mind, your body, your spirit practices. This is you paying attention to your daily life in order to recognize that this is a true service to others, that it flows from a place of inner balance. Let me show you one more time the kite that it's forming here. This is connecting all of these planets, and the focus is you. It's you saying, this will change me, my goals, my mind, my body, my spirit, my identity. And so what's anchoring is your daily life. And so, my Aries friends, a mantra can be, I am here to release these old routines, to honor my mind, my body, my spirit, and to be more in alignment with my soul, and to step into balanced service that is aligned with my soul. So Aries, thank you for being here. I'd love to hear thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Taurus friends, you are having this eclipse in an area of your life that it's your 5th house of creativity and joy and love, and it's at 29 degrees of Virgo. It signals a closing of a cycle around how do you express yourself, creative art passions or desire or projects, children, your own inner child. It's about opening up your heart. Now you have Saturn and Neptune that are opposite. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces in your 11th house of dreams and goals and people that you collaborate with. Neptune is in your 12th house. Now having Saturn and Neptune here, it's opening up the opposition of asking you to reevaluate. Who do you spend your time with? What groups? What social groups? What friendships? What hopes do you have for the future? What dreams belong to you? And which ones no longer support your growth? Having Mars is also at 29 degrees in the sign of Libra. It's in your daily habits sector. It's emphasizing your need to adjust your work patterns, your daily life, so that it aligns with joy, with creativity, rather than draining it and letting it go. Now, there is a trine to Uranus and Pluto. You have Uranus at in your second house of self-worth, cash, property, and you have Pluto at the top. So let me draw the kite here so you can see that the focal point is who are you connected to? What fears are you releasing? Are you releasing and letting go of? This having the focal point on your 11th and 12th house themes, it's about empowering you. The trine to Uranus in your second house and your 10th house, it's how can I find new ways to merge my passions with my purpose? And how can I monetize after this? How can I use my creative talents? What are my skill sets? What are my talents? This is a really supportive opening for both financial and professional transformation of you. If you allow yourself to follow what truly lights you up, this is connecting you with the right people, places, and things to manifest this and make this happen. The challenges that can come with you holding on to fear, holding on to judgment. The 12th house is how do I overcome the self-sabotage, the private part of myself, like release myself from that broken record. And so for you, it's letting go of fear, letting go of judgment, or the need to be perfect before sharing your gifts. This eclipse, it's really encouraging you to release self-doubt, for you to step into playful experimentation by trusting joy as your guiding principle. You can align with the future where your creativity, it can truly uplift both you and others. So Taurus, a mantra for you can be, I embrace joy. I release fear of judgment and create from a space of authenticity and love. So for my Taurus friends, thank you for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Gemini friends, you are having this eclipse at the bottom of your chart. It's your home life, your personal life, your living situation. It's falling into your home, your family, not just your physical foundation, but this can be your emotional foundation. There is a chapter that's around your living situation, your family dynamics, or your emotional roots that is now reaching a completion. You have Saturn and Neptune opposite. Saturn is in your 10th house of career, reputation. It's also responsibilities, legacy. Neptune is in your 11th house of who do I connect with? My hopes, my dreams, my wishes, my goals. Having Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house and your 11th house, this is really pulling your attention towards your career, towards your public life. It's creating this balance between acting out your responsibilities and your own inner needs. Now, you do have Mars. Mars is also at 29 degrees. Mars is in the sign of Libra. Libra always wants balance. It's in your 5th house that's calling your attention to passion, fun, joy, children, your own inner child, play. This is reminding you that joy and love, it must also be a part of your foundation that you are creating. Now, there is this trine that is also connected with Pluto and Uranus. That's what makes this so important for you. You have Uranus in your 1st house of identity. That is part of the kite that is focused on the direction of changing location, changing the direction. So let's break this down. Having Uranus in your 1st house of identity. 1st house, all about you, your identity, things that you want to launch, business card, website. It's literally you being seen. Now, having Pluto in your 9th house brings in themes about these powerful shifts of your identity with belief systems. This brings in possibly a breakthrough that can come as you align your personal truth with how and where you live. This is about connecting your physical body with your spiritual beliefs. There can be opportunities that lie in creating a home or an inner sanctuary that just feels comfortable and nurtures you, while also stepping into this expanded worldview that really reshapes your path moving forward. The challenge of this eclipse, remember that it's the anchor, it's the bottom of your chart, that the focus is on the top. The challenges will be to let go of family patterns, traditions, inherited expectations, outdated roles that just no longer define who you're becoming. This eclipse, it's asking you to recognize that true security, it isn't about clinging on to the past, but it's about creating a foundation that supports your evolving identity. So for my Gemini friends, a mantra can be, I honor my roots. I'm releasing old patterns. I am creating a foundation that nourishes who I am becoming. So Gemini, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Cancer friends, you are ruled by the moon. It's always important for you to be following where it is and what is it doing. So you are having this eclipse in the final degrees in your third house of communication. This is the house of learning, your local connections, old stories, thought patterns, all of these communication habits. They can now be like closing out of a chapter, and it's a releasing not only what you say to others, but it's also you finding your voice, what you say to yourself. Now you do have Saturn and Neptune opposing. Saturn is in your ninth house of these cross-cultural experiences, and Neptune is at the top of your chart, your career, your job, your reputation, your legacy. And so with Saturn and Neptune like directly opposing from your ninth house, this axis of learning and teaching and publishing and your true belief system, it's fully going to be illuminated here. You might need to release and let go of these outdated ways of that you have been thinking and step into more of an expansive worldview. Now you do have Mars also at 29 degrees in your fourth house of home and family. 29 is just this pivotal endings, culminations. Mars in your fourth house, it suggests that you have to cut, sever, remove, and make these adjustments within your family, your home life. The impact on how you communicate and share your truth. Who do you share it with? How do you want to, what do you need for security, for stability? The fourth house brings in your personal life and your living situation. Now there is a trine to Uranus in your 12th and Pluto in your 8th. Let me connect all of the dots here. So we have Pluto wanting to transform. We have Uranus wanting to offer freedom, liberation quickly in a surprise. So the anchor is the sun and the moon, this eclipse, with the focus of the top of the kite to move forward. It's bringing in the energy of this trine. Pluto in your 8th house, it's creating this supportive transformation in your subconscious on a deep soul level. There can be opportunities that lie here in releasing the mental clutter. This is about learning a new skill or developing your voice in a way that empowers both you and other people. The 12th house, it brings about the themes of how do I release myself from self-sabotage, fears? How do I tap into the universe in order to receive the divine messages? Now, the challenges arise in if you cling to these old narratives or fear that you're voicing your truth. This eclipse, it wants you to trust in the power of your words, and it wants you to recognize that what you share can truly open up doors of healing and connection. This is truly a time to let your voice be this bridge between the personal and the collective. Cancer, a mantra can be, I release the old stories and I speak with clarity, truth, and my soul alignment. So thank you, Cancer, for being here. I'd love to hear thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Leo friends, you are ruled by the sun. So whenever it makes a major aspect to a planet, it's always important for you to be following it. And so this is a major aspect. You have the sun and the moon merging their energy. This is mind, body, spirit, soul connection for a purpose, for a drive. This is happening in your second house, which is values, money, your self-worth, your sense of security. At 29 degrees of Virgo, it's signaling a complete ending of cycles around what do you truly value? How do you exchange energy financially, emotionally, and spiritually? How does this work for you? You have Saturn and Neptune that are opposite. Saturn wants the structures. Neptune, it dissolves. And Saturn being in, so Saturn and Neptune, Saturn being in your 8th house, it truly highlights issues around your shared resources of where you merge your time, your effort, your energy with other people. So it has to do with intimacy and transformation and power and control. And Neptune wants to dissolve. It like removes the veil so you can see, this is where I want to go. This is what I believe in. This is people, places, and things that I feel connected to. Now, we also have Mars at 29 degrees. It's that 29 degrees that's really highlighting. This is your 3rd house of communication. This could bring about major decisive conversations that come around money or contracts or your value systems. There's also a trine with Pluto in your partnership sector and Uranus in your connection to goals, hopes, wishes, dreams. So let me tie this all together to show you that the eclipse is the base of the kite. And the top of the kite is the direction in which you are moving towards. So for you, having Uranus in your 11th house totally shaking things up and Pluto in your partnership sector totally transforming, it's asking you to align your partnerships with your communities that can support your security, your self-worth. There can be breakthroughs within collaborations or alliances that can help you to step into more of a greater empowerment, both financially and personally. Now, the challenge can come from clinging to these outdated definitions of worth or fear. You know, that broken record of I'm not valuable, I'm not worthy, or I should be here, you know, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And so this is about releasing those unhealthy attachments to possessions and relationships. This eclipse, it's really calling you to re-anchor your self-worth, not in external validation, but in steady recognition that has to do with your own inner value. This is a powerful reset for your financial and your emotional security for you. By releasing what no longer supports your growth, you are now making space for aligned abundance to come to you. Leo, a mantra can be, I honor my true worth. I release outdated attachments and I am aligning with abundance that supports my soul. So for my Leo friends, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Virgo friends, this is an intense one. You have this eclipse at the 29th degree. It is extremely potent for you because it is in your 1st house of yourself, your identity, who you are, your image, your mind, your body, your spirit. It's literally you. And so at 29 degrees of Virgo, it marks the end of an era of personal growth, and it marks the beginning of a new phase of partnerships and connections for you. You have Saturn and Neptune directly opposing. Saturn wants to create sustainable foundations, and Neptune is dissolving these boundaries. Having Saturn and Neptune opposite in your partnership sector, in the house of the 7th and the 8th houses, it's highlighting the balance between yourself and other people. And it's asking you to truly release these outdated patterns of independence or self-sacrifice. Now, you do also have Mars at 29 degrees. This is in your second house of cash, property. It's stirring the issues of what you value, knowing your worth. Know your value, know your worth. And this is urging you to truly align your choices with what you truly value. And so what's supporting this is the harmonious aspect with Pluto and with Uranus. Pluto wants to transform, and Uranus brings about the shock, the surprise. I didn't see it coming, but it brings freedom, it brings liberation. And so when you look at this kite, the base of the kite has to do with you. It's bringing in all themes of it starts with me and it ends with me. The trine to Uranus and Pluto in your sixth and your 10th house, it wants to transform through your daily habits, through learning, through studying, through your reputation, your legacy. The opportunities of this transit lie in how do you embrace a new identity that is more collaborative, that is more creative, and in tune with your soul's purpose. The challenge comes from you clinging to self-criticism, perfectionism. Like those are Virgo tendencies. And so those difficult themes, they can prevent you from stepping into a more balanced version of yourself. This eclipse, it's asking you to integrate your past growth, and while opening up to new relationships, new partnerships, new shared paths moving forward. So for my Virgo friends, a mantra can be, I release my old self. I'm embracing these new connections with others, and I step into an identity that is aligned with my highest purpose. So for Virgo, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Libra friends, this eclipse is happening in a very personal part of your chart, your 12th house. It has to do with spirituality, it has to do with endings, it has to do with the hidden realm. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing, but it's also the house where I tune in with yoga and meditation in order to understand things greater than self. It's a cycle of subconscious patterns, isolation, or behind the scenes work that is now closing for you. Having Saturn and Neptune opposite. Saturn opposing this is in your 6th house of your daily habits, mental, physical, spiritual, health, well-being. It's how do you pull in the focus of balancing your health, your daily habits, and a spiritual renewal. The Neptune in Aries is dissolving the people, places, and things in your life that are not, that drain your energy. Now you also have Mars at 29 degrees. That is this anaretic degree that the eclipse is at. So this plays an important role. Mars is in your 1st house of identity. This is highlighting where do you want to cut, sever, remove, push forward your own personal action. You might feel both endings and new beginnings as they are pressing on your sense of identity. Now, there are 2 other planets with Pluto asking for transformation and Uranus causing chaos and disruption in order to bring about freedom and liberation. These are all forming a kite that brings in the theme of the base being the eclipse in your 12th house and the focal point of where am I moving towards with Saturn and Neptune. This trine to having Pluto in your 5th house of children and creativity, creative projects, fun, joy, pleasure, your own inner child. Uranus in your house of these cross-cultural experiences and expanding your mind, your worldview, religion, philosophy. It suggests that you have breakthroughs with your connections with children or with creative projects or art or beauty and connections with foreign people, places, and things. This is really helping you to release these fears that could be around you shining your light. The opportunities lie in you focused on letting go of people, places, and things that drain your energy, and embracing your own spiritual practices, trusting that your intuition is the focal point as it guides you forward. The challenges here come from resisting closure, working from a space of fear. This is a fear of releasing control over the unknown because we don't know. And so this eclipse, it's really asking you to surrender to the old wounds. It's trust in the divine that's unfolding, you stepping into a lighter, freer self. So Libra, a mantra for you can be, I release what has ended for me. I trust divine timing, and I embrace healing through the act of surrender. So for my Libra friends, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Scorpio friends, you are having this eclipse, this new moon eclipse at 29 degrees in your 11th house, which represents your community, your friendships, your vision for the future. At 29 degrees of Virgo, it signals a major ending to certain groups or certain goals that just no longer align with your soul. This could be maybe the project is over. Maybe this there is going to be some kind of you leaving a project, you leaving a group, a network, or an ending to a focal point. Now you have Saturn and Neptune that are directly opposite. Saturn wants a foundation, it wants long-term success, and Neptune wants to dissolve. And so this is signaling this end to these groups, these goals that just don't align with your soul. And Saturn and Neptune opposing, they're highlighting that the balance between your creative self-expression, you're tapping into what do you want to create, what do you want to birth, and your community belonging and your day-to-day habits, and is what you're doing sustainable and needing to make it sustainable. You also have Mars at 29 degrees, 29 being the same degree as this eclipse, making it really important. Mars wants to cut, sever, remove. Mars is in your 12th house. This is the house that pushes you to release these hidden patterns, secrets. It's the behind the scenes conflicts that can truly block the progress of you moving forward. Now, there is a trine to Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in your home sector. So having Uranus in your 8th house, it is totally shaking up, rocking, waking up your connections, the collaborations that you have with, on an intimate level, with people that could be business partners, significant others. And Pluto is transforming your home life. You're bringing in those themes of your foundation. The 4th house has to do with your living situation, your personal life. The trine, let me draw some more lines here so you can see it. These planets, the eclipse is what starts it, and it sets off this trine. And the focal point is actually the kite, and it's saying, this is the direction in which I want to move towards. And so the trine, it suggests new people, something that has to do with transforming with your home, releasing and letting go of undercovering these taboo topics, these partnerships, these empowering communications that can open up new pathways, something that has to do with your emotional security or your physical foundation. The opportunities here, they lie in you looking at your home life, looking at also who do you group or network with, who are you in a, the 8th house represents business partners, significant others, it's open enemies and exes because you have your alimony and your child support. It has to do with family or friends that you are intimately connected with. And so it's you stepping into a leadership role that you can embrace the vision of what is truly resonant with you. Now, the challenge comes from you clinging to friendships or networks, groups, goals, or that's just out of habit. It's, no, I've always done this. I've done this for 20 years. I need to continue with this, even when these have outlived their purpose. This eclipse, it's inviting you to reimagine what would your role be in the collective to recognize that your creative gifts, they're meant to be shared with others. So my Scorpio friends, a mantra can be, I am releasing these outdated connections. I align with my true community and I'm stepping into a future that's built on my authentic vision. So for Scorpio, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Sagittarius friends, this is a huge public ending, culmination. It's in your house of career, job, reputation, legacy, your public life. Having this eclipse in your 10th house, it really marks the end of an era in how do you define success within your path in the world. Having Saturn and Neptune opposite, Saturn is in your home sector, your security, your living situation, your personal life. And having Neptune in your tapping into your creative sector, it is about fun and joy and pleasure, your own inner child. And so Saturn and Neptune opposing, this highlights the need for you to balance your home and your family with your outer achievement. I want to bring in Mars also. Mars is at 29 degrees. The eclipse is happening at 29 degrees. Mars wants to cut, sever, and remove. Mars in Libra can bring these decisive action within groups or networks or these collaborations that impact your career trajectory. You do have a trine with Pluto in your 3rd house of communication and with Uranus in your partnership sector. So let me draw all of these lines together. There is a kite, and the kite starts with the base of this eclipse, knowing that whatever is ending, there's a brand new beginning. And what is the focal point? Where are we supposed to be moving towards? More fun, joy, pleasure. What does home life look like? And so this trine to your 3rd house of communication, transforming all types of technology, communication, your immediate community, and with Uranus in your partnership sector really has creative, unique, exotic people coming into your life and people coming out of your life. And so with this trine, it's really trying to transform. What does a home foundation look like? What is your higher calling? These breakthroughs in connecting with unique individuals that will support you with your daily habits of career, job, reputation, legacy, and with your long-term vision. Now, the challenge can come from you clinging to these outdated definitions of what does success look like, out of the fear of the loss of status. This eclipse, it's asking you to release what no longer reflects your true calling and to embrace this new career path that resonates with your evolving soul. So for my Sagittarius friends, a mantra can be, I release outdated ambitions. I'm aligning with my soul's calling and stepping into purpose with clarity and trust. So for my Sagittarius friends, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Capricorn friends, you are having this eclipse at 29 degrees in an area of your life, the 9th house, which represents wisdom and travel and beliefs and these cross-cultural experiences. And it's at 29 degrees of Virgo, which signals a closing of this cycle in how do you approach truth and knowledge and wisdom and your worldview. Saturn and Neptune oppose it. Saturn being in your 3rd house of communication and Neptune being in your 4th house of home. This brings in the opposition of creating tension between your everyday thinking, your higher learning, your home life, who do you like classes and workshops and everything that you do close to home with broadening and expanding your worldview. Having Mars in the sign of Libra in your house of career. Remember, Mars wants to cut, sever, remove, go after. It's also at 29 degrees, part of this story because the eclipse is at 29 degrees. And so this brings very decisive career choices that can be influenced within your shifting of thought patterns or your belief system. Now, there is also a trine to Uranus and to Pluto. Pluto is in your second house of cash, property, what you need in order to be secure. Uranus is shaking up your daily habits of how can I make this happen? What has to happen? How do I nurture and care for myself? And so having this trine, it is transforming your money, your cash, your skill set, your talents. Know your value, know your worth. It's about empowerment of where do you want to go and what do you want to do. You aligning your path with your broader vision. And so is this expanding your horizons? Is this pursuing new studies? Is this through teaching roles? Is this through taking a class or a workshop? It's I need to focus on the direction in which I'm going and how do I make that happen. The eclipse having endings but new beginnings at the top, but the top of the kite, which is at the bottom, focusing on home and security and communication. Now, the challenge comes in if you are holding too tightly to rigid beliefs, if you are clinging to outdated narratives that can keep you small. This eclipse, it's asking you to release these narrow perspectives and to be open to wisdom that can be integrated with your heart and your mind. It's like a balance of. And so, Capricorn, a mantra for you can be, I release limiting beliefs. I embrace a new wisdom and expand into higher vision of the truth. So for my Capricorn friends, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. So for my Aquarius friends, you are having this eclipse at 29 degrees in your 8th house of transformation. This is the house of intimacy, power, control, shared resources. And at 29 degrees of Virgo, it marks the end of a major cycle around how do you handle vulnerability? How do you handle power? How do you handle shared energy of when you are connected with other people? It's about power and control dynamics. Having Saturn and Neptune oppose it, Saturn is in your second house of your self-worth, your resources, your talents, and Neptune in your third house of communicating this energy. This message is asking you to reconcile your self-worth with your shared commitments or your shared connections that you have with other people. You also have Mars at 29 degrees. Remember, 29 is important because the eclipse is at 29. And so Mars wants to cut, sever, remove. It's about action and passion and desire. Mars in your 9th house, it's highlighting your decisions that you make around beliefs, travel, education, publishing, and like the taking of a class or teaching of a class. And so how does this reshape intimacy or your joint finances? Now, there is a trine that's supporting this with Pluto in your 1st house and Uranus in your 5th house. This all together is forming a kite. The base of the kite is actually the sun and the moon, and the top of the kite is Saturn and Neptune. This energy is bringing together the focal point of starting with the eclipse, an ending and a major beginning, and a focus on you. Having this trine to Uranus in your 5th house. This is the house of your own inner child and creativity and love and beauty. And Pluto transforming your identity. This is huge for you because this is your health, your happiness, your vitality, your business, your goals, your I think of it as your business card, your website. And so all of this together is really suggesting that you're having this breakthrough in healing with subconscious transformation. Pluto wants birth, death, and rebirth. It wants the transformation. It's guiding you towards releasing of old attachments of who they thought you were, who you presented to the world, who you now are. The opportunities, they lie in deepening your intimacy, not being afraid to connect or collaborate with other people. This is guiding you to release these old attachments. It's restructuring of your own personal finances, you embracing transformative power of let go, let flow. The challenge comes from you resisting the vulnerability, you having, or the fear of releasing control. This eclipse, it's asking you to just trust that by shedding, think of it as a snake, by shedding of what no longer supports you, you gain empowerment and freedom from this. So Aquarius, a mantra can be, I release fear and embrace transformation and trust the power of shared healing. So thank you so much for being here, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below, my Aquarius friends. So for my Pisces friends, this is going to be very intimate and strongly felt for you. You are having the eclipse in the other part of your chart. If you are the Pisces, the partnership sector, the Virgo house is your 7th house. It represents relationships and partnerships, and it's at 29 degrees. This marks an ending of these patterns in how you connect with other people. Now, Saturn and Neptune oppose. Saturn is in your first house of your identity, asking for energy, like this could be limitations or boundaries that can either be physical or energetic, and Neptune is blurring or dissolving. And so Saturn and Neptune, it's opposing, it's highlighting the balance between yourself and other people. Now, Mars is also at 29 degrees. Very important because Mars wants to cut, sever, remove, and it's in Libra. It's in your 8th house, and it's emphasizing your decisions around intimacy, finances, fear, control, trust within relationships. It's bringing those to the forefront. It wants to cut, sever, remove, work through. The trines that are supporting this are Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in your home sector. So we have the tail end of the kite focused and working collaboratively with all of these other planets. And what opposes is the Saturn-Neptune. So the trine with Uranus. Uranus is shaking up your home sector. It's like bringing everything to the surface that has to do with your living situation, your personal life, traditions, family, home. And the 12th house brings up self-sabotage, fears, the broken record of what we believe. And so these energies are working together to suggest breakthroughs in the way that you communicate, in not just, it's like releasing and letting go of karma, healing and renewing, you stepping into these empowering connections that has to do with family or a new role of family. Okay, so these trines and these aspects, the opportunities lie in stepping into more equal, equitable, fair partnerships. And this could be business, significant other, this could be clients, this could be, I'm going to say, family members, especially if there's wills or things that you share with people. This is releasing codependent dynamics, you building these alliances that can reflect your soul's true path. The challenge, it's going to come from you clinging to outdated partnerships in order to avoid boundaries. This eclipse, it's inviting you in to release these patterns that are related with imbalances, and to recognize that true partnership, it supports growth for both people. A mantra for you, Pisces, can be, I release outdated patterns. I embrace equal partnerships, and I am stepping into soulful connections that are aligned with my path. So for my Pisces friends, thank you so much for being here. I'd love to hear thoughts about this in the comments below.